So International Affairs Editor Philip Turle joining me here on set. Philip, the Rafah crossing then opened yesterday. It's expected to be open for others today if they're on the lists. But how did this deal actually come about?
Well, there are rumours that up to 500 people could be free to leave every day. But of course, this is dependent on the lists that are published by those responsible for the evacuation. And many people going to see if they're on the list have found their names are absent. So obviously, they're hoping to get through in the next few days. Now, if you look at this agreement, it concerns foreign nationals and also critically injured civilians. So the people who are not on it, those who are not able to leave, are ordinary citizens in Gaza, and they are many who would like to get out of the Gaza Strip, but they're not taken into consideration by this deal. So it's only foreign nationals, many of whom have been trying to get out of the Gaza Strip since the attacks in October, are now finally being allowed to do so. But only very few people, as you've been saying, actually are allowed out of the Gaza Strip. 335 in all, and 76 injured people. Now, this was all agreed between Israel, Hamas and Egypt, and brokered by Qatar, which has relations with both Israel and also with Hamas, which has facilitated the agreement on this opening of the Rafah crossing. And it was overseen by the United States, coordinated by the United States, which is why it has taken a little bit of a time for this to be able to get off the ground, because there have been certain reticences, the first problem being Egypt and Jordan, which didn't want to see hundreds or thousands of Palestinians fleeing out of the Gaza Strip into Egypt, for example, with the promise that they were going to be able to return, and then unable to return, and this being a way of Israel emptying out the Gaza Strip to be able to better prepare their attacks against Hamas's installations. And that was definitely a no-go on the part of the Egyptians. And the second point was that there were security concerns on the part of the Israelis as to who was going to be allowed out of the Gaza Strip, but above all, what was going to be allowed into the Gaza Strip. As we've seen with these humanitarian convoys that have been brought into the Gaza Strip, there have been long checks. That's why they've been so slow getting into the Gaza Strip, because the authorities want to make sure they're not carrying weapons or they're not carrying hidden fighters on board. And that is something that is also happening the other way around. They don't want Hamas fighters to be allowed to get out of the Gaza Strip and to be able to be away from the Israeli attacks and moving into Egypt, where they can plan further attacks against Israel from within the Gaza Strip and elsewhere. So all of those issues had to be sorted out. Qatar was one of the key players in all of this. So finally, we've seen the beginning of the opening of the Rafah crossing. It should be open again today to let more people out. But of course, this is just a minuscule number of people compared to all of those, especially the injured, who are waiting to be evacuated from hospitals around the Gaza Strip, which are really suffering from a lack of supplies and, above all, from fuel.